I'd like to welcome on stage our first panel discussion, and here to moderate this, please welcome Walaa Maher, General Manager, Supply Chain, Rax Ceramics. He's not going to be alone, I'm delighted to say, because he's going to be joined by panelists, and they are Dr. Hannah Gomar, Head of Supply Chain of Gulf MENA Growth Markets in Pakistan, Mondelez International. Hello and welcome. Yelena Agbaba, Head of Quality Assurance and Product Development, Al Rawabi, Dairy Company. Wael Nemi, Vice President of Supply Chain and Projects, Dubai Refreshments. Silvana Zaki, Head of Supply Chain Operations and Quality, Mia Johnson & Johnson. And Amitava Giri, Head of Group Quality and Business Excellence, Emirates National Oil Company. Together, they are going to be discussing for a period of 40 minutes, and I believe they're going to have 30 minutes on stage and 10 minutes Q&A with you. So if you've got questions, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you, write them down during the course of their conversation. Right, Walaa, over to you.
Thanks a lot. 1, 2, testing, all good? Yes. Okay, so thanks a lot for having us here. I'm really thrilled for the group that we are having today. Yes, I met them today. We have been contacting each other for a couple of days as well to have as much as possible all your questions answered in those 40 minutes. Today we have a group of mixed industries. We have oil and gas, we have food, we have beverage, we have medical instruments. As well, we are having not only supply chain people or operation people, we have quality, we have operation, we have supply chain. We are here for you to ask, and we will just be your source of expertise during this period. Okay, as we saw in the previous presentation, everyone is talking about productivity, improvement, operation excellence. As much as I see it, I was telling the group, the difference between lean and mean is only one letter. Okay. Whenever we are talking productivity, people think that we'll be like cutting costs, cutting people, removing people. While I see that operational excellence is a continuous improvement and everyone trusts this. So to my fellow panelists, so how do you see it? Right now we have the people who studied lean in Japan, okay, and studied improvement in Japan, 4 years, right? Yeah.
3 years.
3 years, okay. 3 years, so we have people who took lean as lean, and we have people who have been managing this for years and years in the industry as well, and in all the companies. So from operational excellence between connecting the technology and the operational part, where do you see it? Maybe I would start with ladies first, so first you.
First, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to the panel today, representing Mondelez International. And if you might not know Mondelez, it's a company which produces chocolate, biscuit, candy, and gum. We are a leader in snacking industry, so we are number 1 in chocolate, biscuits, and candy. And we also position number 2 in gum. We produce products like Cadbury, Toblerone, Milka, Oreo cake, Barney, Trident, Clarets, and Halls. It's a wide global varieties of brands. If you go back to 1950s, where lean was introduced by Toyota, it actually started to broadly appear in the early 90s, and that was due to automation, where we started to have the automation techniques and technology to enable that to happen. Yes, when we talk about lean, the first thing come to our mind is waste reduction.
No,
waste
it's Toyota actually. When we talk lean, it's Toyota for me.
It's Toyota. But actually, the key characteristic of lean is the strict integration of humans in the production processes. so that enable the continuous improvement and enable their added value activities which improve the overall experience or the overall results. Today, I feel that lean is actually coming to the limit of the usage because of the external dynamic and market challenges which are faced. So production, having a level of production or capacity utilization is actually started to be not possible to maximum utilization because of demand variations.
But this is only in the food industry or in the oil and gas as well, in the machine industry? So for oil and gas?
Yes. If you see in the oil and gas, the industry is very broad. If somebody is familiar with oil and gas industry, it starts with production, which is from the oil wells, then there is processing, and then there is retailing of fuel. That's the entire value chain. For most of you who use your vehicles, perhaps what you see is the last mile where you go and fill up your vehicles or cars. But you don't get to see the other stages which happens at the background. Across this entire spectrum, lean is an important factor, but it is used judiciously to the extent required. For us in the oil and gas industry, the key philosophy is operational excellence, and lean is one of the tools that we would use in ensuring that we enhance not only our processes, improve our bottom line, but also give the customer a superior experience. So when you go, for example, to fill your vehicle at a fuel station, you would have observed that earlier probably you take longer time to fuel your cars, but today you take a shorter time. You perhaps had to wait to reach the fuel stations in a longer period of time. Today we have probably brought in some kind of lean activity so that you can reach the pump in a much faster way. Not only that, we've made the pumps more digitized, more sensitive, so that the time to fuel your vehicle is much faster. So we brought in lean practices in various facets of our industry, but it is used on a case-to-case basis.
So from an operational excellence standpoint, it is not only the lean strategy by itself, but it is more of a mindset between the integration of the technology and the people, right? I know, Ali, you have a success story that you want to share as well in the beverage part.
Yeah, thank you and good morning. We started Dubai Refreshments years ago, a journey. I would say we started that with having a clear vision where we want to be. And from there, we started looking at, the current operations that we have, which is located in Sheikh Zayed Road. We had issues with that operation, is that because the land that we were staying on was really limited in size, the production capacity was having a limitation. So we need to think in a different way, not only thinking about the methodologies, how to improve and maximize productivity to cope with the booming market, but also to have what they call a continuous or a breakthrough change by the infrastructure itself and what can we do about it. So we have a kind of two split directions. One direction will go into thinking of how we shift to a new facility. And the other direction is how to, maximize the capacity and get out of the plant as much as possible, because every case that we lose is a loss of sales directly. So from that time, we started the planning journey of Greenfield and the methodology that we implemented. Basically, we implemented methodologies related to maximizing production efficiencies. I must say that one of them is called M&W, which is very close from the lean management concept. And at the end, we got this done and we maximized our efficiency. And at the same time, the plant was in the direction of completion. Now we shifted to a new facility in the Dubai Investment Park, where we have, the best-in-class organization.
But I captured from what you are saying the green field. Okay. It is always easy when you are moving to a green field. My practice as well in my new assignment in Ceramics, that I started a green field. Working with the old facility and the old mindset and engaging with the people, okay, especially when you are trying to improve the productivity and changing the operational system, okay, is somehow challenging in our region and challenging in different industries. For someone who's working with food, and I'm depending, as I was telling you, I'm depending on you that all your people are doing extremely good job that the food is safe for my kids. So tell us about your perspective on it.
Thank you very much for your trust first. Yes, we have a very big responsibility to provide items which comes to basic or essential food items for human diet, that is the dairy products and juice products. So mistake must not happen. So we need to go very deep in a risk assessment, opportunity assessment, yes, and then to define everything in advance to be ready. When we come to the people, yes, I like that you asked that question, because our company is investing a lot and paying a lot of effort in creating a culture which promotes, I will say, the personal leadership system, which is based on the timeless principles of effectiveness. So we are trying to provide the training to our people horizontally, vertically throughout the company, where they can improve their personal and professional approach to the work. And also we are giving a training for the disciplines of execution. It's all based on the Franklin Covey system. We did even one step further. We created the training material which is based on examples from our organization, so they can have a very familiar pictures and the stories about the and things need to be applied. And it's also translated in the most common languages, because we have a multinational organization, I mean the people, staff, so it's very important to have internal trainers to provide the proper training. So we do, beside automation of the processes, beside of the robotics, what is already applied, I believe, in each and every manufacturing facility now, we are trying to put the people in alignment with technology and innovation, so it really helps.
So the growth is both, I would say, hand in hand between the growth in the technology itself and the people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, Sylvana, your part is the most critical part, because you are dealing, as Johnson & Johnson, in your area, you are dealing every day with patients, okay, and you are preventing people from dying every day. So can you tell us your perspective?
Thank you, Walaa. So basically, in Johnson & Johnson, we are more focusing on the operational excellence with its broad and strong identity, because lean is just of eliminating waste, but we have a broader, as you said, commitment to our patients, to the people, even working in the organization. So it's people from different or all perspectives.
Just to make sure people understand, okay, she is working on the diabetes machinery for Johnson & Johnson, this function group, not Johnson & Johnson, the rest of the baby stuff, okay? That's why we're talking about
yes,
the
I'm
patients.
talking basically about the patients, but my experience with Johnson, I worked with the consumer team as well for 4 years before joining the medical devices, and we still are committing to the consumer, the patients, and in this perspective, we are seeking operational excellence as well in the technology. So you see how the evolution is going now, from that patients need to be connected, they need to transfer their data to doctors. So we are providing all the different technologies that can help them to this. So for example, we have now the Reveal application coming to Middle East to help all the diabetes in the region to connect their machines, and we are developing the technology that we have this machine to connect to the application and transfer the information to the doctors. So taking this to the next level, we as supply chain professionals, we are supporting the organization to bring in this technology and involve our people as well in contributing to this. And I see that operational excellence is basically more the objective of it, business growth. Lean is eliminating waste, that if you just did it and you did lean and you eliminate waste, it's a great target at the end. But when we talk about operational excellence, we're talking about business growth that the different entities of the organization need to see it. So not only supply chain people, you need to involve the rest of the functions, you need to bring in and sell the idea to the commercial team, so you need to talk commercial sales numbers, you need to involve your finance team. So this is how we are processing the key projects related to operational excellence, where we bring in the whole organization, put in the environment and the culture in the company that we encourage, from the simple employee working on the machine till the leadership team, everybody adopting the same approach that we are targeting business growth and looking into all the process and the procedures in the organization.
So we are not just the geeks who's looking into the procedures,
exactly,
right?
so we are trying to really involve everyone and talk their language, educate them. It's very, I saw it very value added when you educate your commercial team about your lead time, about the manufacturing issues that happening, using your data, your information technology, talking their language and telling them what you are doing, because for them you are just the supply chain people that they don't want to hear that your lead time is long or you have some operational issues. So it's very good to bring everyone on board and spend more time in educating your people in the organization as well.
So between the words of the oil and gas, the fast-moving consumer goods, the fast-moving consumer goods that have long expiry date, 1 year, half a year, while milk have 2-3 days. With all this, how do you see the integration between the OPEX and the organization excellence when it comes to management? Okay.
I think operational excellence, we can talk a lot at all the levels. However, if the organization is not positioning it strategically as part of the strategy of the organization, it won't go anywhere. So it has to be really sponsored by the strategy of the company. So in Mondelez, for example, we have a strategy of execution where we drive operational excellence. We positioned it under the manufacturing scorecard, where we put all the aspects of safety, quality, deliver, cost, sustainability, and morale. And I will talk about morale later when we talk about the culture in details. We have a strategic roadmap which includes digitization. So in our roadmap there is a specific items where we talk about how we are incorporating technology and digitizing or automating the end-to-end of the organization. So not only inside the manufacturer, but we are always building one platform and targeting to build one platform which is really in very advanced stage now. So that actually led to where we are now. So in 2018, Middle East and Africa, we have reduced waste by more than 50% versus 2013, which is showing the results of this all strategies and roadmap and implementations.
Waste, you are talking about the waste in operation, or as well the sustainability, as the previous panelists were talking about the sustainability as well for the environment and further?
So the waste I'm talking about here is the 50% is for the waste. Mm-hmm. However, in sustainability as well, by mid of this year, we have reduced around 20% of the CO2 emissions in our end-to-end operations.
Very good. So back again to beverage. So you said I moved to a green field. Okay, can you talk about how the technology and re-engineering that you have used have helped you in the operational excellence?
Yeah, we have many examples. I mean, I would say, since we're talking about sustainability and cutting costs, the latest projects that we integrated was having a top roof, the biggest roof in Dubai, with solar panels, around 11,000 panels, wow, generating around one-third of our electrical consumption. That was one of the projects that, and now we are just connected through our mobiles to track on daily basis the outcome of this solar thing. Another thing, and so many things has been taken into consideration when we put the design about for example, the type of the lines that can be connected to the ERP system that's already built in. And there are small details about the type of motors that you're using that has to be tropicalized and so on and so forth. That has been already taken into consideration from day one in the factory itself. Refrigeration also, we have a centralized refrigeration. Wastewater treatment plant, for example, now we do a wastewater treatment plant where we treat half of our effluent and we reuse it in irrigation and truck washing. And the other half, we sell part of it, and the other part goes for a drainage. So from a sustainability, from a cost cutting,
you are already recycling everything.
Yes, we're almost recycling. We're targeting to have a zero kind of effluent later on. Yeah.
So everyone looks to oil and gas and see that you have been here for what, 200 years? Oil and gas industry was always
in general,
there.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So of course not your company, not okay. For an industry that is that old, okay, is operational excellence still in the focus or done? It is small improvement from time to time.
No, I think for us, operational excellence is a strategic intent, because that's the only way we can remain always relevant in the market. If you look at what's happening globally, you look at various types of oil and gas industries. We have shale oil coming out of America. America some time back was a huge importer of oil. Today they're one of the largest exporter of oil because of shale oil. So there's been continuous evolution, development and innovation. To remain relevant, to remain in business, we have to have a key strategy like operational excellence. And over here in the UAE, what we try to do is we try to take it as an organizational initiative where we continuously evolve and improve to improve our bottom line and give the customers, as I said, enhanced service or product. To just give you an example, if you would have visited a fuel station years ago, the first thing you go there and you smell oil. Yes. Today, because of technological advancement, what we've done is we brought in a technology called vapor recovery. So when you go and fuel your car, you don't smell petrol or diesel, because we put in a mechanism which sucks out the vapors surrounding the fuel station. So we are trying to give you a very, very clean environment, which also caters to sustainability, caters to the environment, look and feel of that area. Another initiative that we've taken on board is to ensure that you do not spend too much time in fueling. Today we brought in what is known as RFID technology. So you can just drive in to the petrol station, fuel your car and drive out. Every transaction is seamless and automated. You can sit at your home and make the payment because of an RFID technology in place. So evolution, innovation and improvement is a continuous way of life, and this can only be driven through operational excellence across the value chain.
Okay, great. So guys, you have questions to each other? Ladies?
No, I just can see that all of us, we are struggling with similar problems. We are always in between. I will also bring a few facts for you. Operational excellence is actually the way out, like somewhere in between where can the things...
Sometimes talking it too much with the management, it is your way out of the company.
Out of the, yes. I'm not talking about that way out. I'm just speaking about the way how to be competitive in the market still. And I believe that operational excellence can lead us there. Why? Because as you said, we have a product which is like, has to be in the highest quality. The quality cannot be compromised. Competition is very hard in the market, in this market. From another side, we are protected as consumers. Government is protecting us by limiting the prices of the basic food items. So having these two things as a boundaries, it's not easy the space for maneuver is not so big. So the only way out from this situation is actually applying operational excellence and a lean management system where we can address, minimize, or even eliminate the non-value-added activities, and cost cutting is always the popular game. I believe that we are struggling a little bit more because of these strict actions, but I believe that everybody is in the same problem, let's say. It's not a problem, but it's not easy way to work.
Sure. So, coming from a global organization and working in Middle East and Africa, the challenge between the deployment of the people who have this as a way of living most of the time, as we were talking about Japan, okay, if you get a Japanese person here and try to drive in some of our roads, not in UAE, but I can tell you places in Middle East, at least in Egypt, okay, he would just have an accident, he cannot drive. So, how we are driving your organization across the Middle East to deploy the Johnson & Johnson processes?
Okay, I believe the two key success factors to do it in Middle East, basically different cultures need different strategy in doing everything. So what I found it very efficient in Middle East, that test and learn is very important. So bringing your people to actually be convinced that you are testing something during your operational excellence process, you're suggesting a re-engineering, renovation, doing things in a different way, and you're telling them, by the way guys, if it's wrong, if it's not this model not suiting us, let's see the data coming out of this new innovation or this new remodeling of a certain process, and if it's not coming right, we are very comfortable as an organization to say that we tested and we learned that it's not the most efficient way to do it, maybe in this region or this industry. So we learn and we can change it at any point. And when you tell your people this and you involve them in this kind of decision making, you make them more comfortable that it's not a solid rock. You know, like we can change it, we can adapt it as per the need of each even market. So Egypt is different than Saudi, different than UAE, the culture is different, the people working in manufacturing sites and operation is different. So you have to actually adopting those kind of strategy. It helps you to get the buy-in and the people try to accept the change and the transformation you are trying to do. So this test and learn is very important, and I learned it from as well, the Middle East is different, and Johnson & Johnson's try to do it slow, steady, but yet we will win at the end. So you don't have to do everything fast, everything one shot. You have to be sure that your step is like serving the operational excellence in a way, and take it step by step. You cannot transform it all across one night. What's written in the book is great, but use it as a guideline and adopt your own process. Create your own process that suits your people, suits the organization vision, and suits the industry nature as well. I worked in food and beverage, and then I worked in consumer, and now I'm working in medical device. So I found that the operational excellence strategy is differing a lot from one business to another. So you have to know what you need to adapt for your own business case, listen to our best practices, but take it and build your own business case where it can suit your own industry and your own people.
Very good.
Actually, it's a very important point, because it is our responsibility as global companies to bring here in Middle East best practices from all the globe. So in April last year, we have opened Factory of Future, which produce chocolate cake and tang in Bahrain. And it has a capacity more than 100,000 tons a year. So actually, it's a fully automated production lines attached to a fully automated warehouse. And it's one of the 7 factories around the globe. So when we had success stories around the globe, we decided to open this in the Middle East as one of our strategic locations. So yeah, so I feel the responsibility as a global company to implement this here in Middle East.
Great. So I believe we have 10 minutes for questions. So guys, ladies, shoot.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your opportunity to interact with your panelists. If you've got a question, let us have your name, your company, and your question.
This is the polite way to say shoot. Guys, shoot.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Harsh Upadhyay and I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt in Lampron. I have a question because yesterday's session as well as today's session, I heard a lot of time digital transformation, and now the session is going on toward the operational excellency. According to me, this digital transformation is basically not a one word, it's basically a two words, where the digital is, we call it like the Industry 4.0 and all those things which are integrating with the transformation, which is basically the operational excellency, where how do you transform, how you make more efficient the people, process and system. So the question to the panelists is, these all are the buzzwords, but sometimes what happens is there are multiple teams working in the same companies who are focusing toward all those things, and there's a bits and pieces of the continuous improvement going on. It is especially when there is a big company, which is a big MNCs, where there is a different arms who are focusing toward the things. So how do we consolidate all those things and coming up with the one vision that the operation excellence is the main thing, whether you are coming with the digital or you are coming with the data or you are coming with any other ways, has to be incorporated and focused towards make more continuous improvement.
So, I'll tell you a very small practice, but maybe we talk about the horizontal vertical integration as well. Okay, so from my perspective, first to make the whole company work on one way, okay, is a vertical deployment from the leadership. This is our way, and then a master plan, action plan. We can use many tools, the 90-60-30 checkpoints, the PDCA cycle. This is how to make sure that everyone is going in the same direction. I agree 100% with you that the word digital transformation is two different words, because transformation is something that everyone in the company needs to trust that we want to make transformation. And digitizing or not digitizing, it's again according to which field. Sometimes, okay, mobile devices and deployment of an ERP system maybe is not good for a certain industry, and you can work your job by a simple Excel. Maybe it is not that complicated. Okay, so I agree that they are different. So, perspective from the team here?
I mean, from our perspective, we see operational excellence as the overarching methodology, and digitization or digital means are part of this journey. They need to be integrated synergetically to achieve the objective of operational excellence. Operational excellence still remains relevant, irrespective of whether it is Industry 4.0, big data, or any other Internet of Things, whatever new technologies that we see on the firmament. They need to integrate and will fall under this overarching principle of operational excellence. So we need to use these methodologies to derive the benefits, achieve our objectives.
Okay.
Walaa, we have a second question. Back right-hand side to our panelists.
Yeah.
My name is Minhan. From Magenta Foods. I've just got a question with respect to a non-greenfield project. Of course, when you're talking about operational excellence, you're talking about lean management. When it's a greenfield, it was discussed in the panel as well. It's usually quite straightforward, although it's got its challenges. But when you've got an acquisition or a merger, you've got a branch, you've got a new country, and then you're looking at a team who's gotten used to 2 decades, 3 decades of a different strategy, a different thought process. So how would you suggest that the challenges that are faced in terms of inculcating the indoctrination of the need, the belief system itself, the need to believe that there is a need for you to bring in all of this, or the need for operational excellence? Because unless you've got belief in that and hope that that would turn something good, there is absolutely no point in talking about the how part of achieving it. So how would we first deal with the challenges of getting people to believe in the need for this transformation? Thank you so much.
So my first answer will be, you can always deploy the very bad way, my way or the highway. Okay, you can always say it. but watch out. Okay. I believe Wael and Dr. Hannah here, between you have the green field and the non-green field. So.
Well, I think there's a nice analogy for this, which is it's an automated. I'm not talking about food and beverage, but I know this story, which is really interesting. It's General Motors, who used to have a plant that was not really performing well, and there are a lot of kinds of people playing gambling during operation, all of that, and then this plant was closed. And then suddenly the Japanese wanted to invest in US, and they approached GM for that. And the Japanese came in, and what happened is that they found that the line managers in General Motors was really oriented only on the production line itself. So nobody's allowed to touch the production line. As long as it's running, nobody's allowed to touch it for any reason. While when the Japanese took over, they've seen how the people on the ground are empowered to stop even the production lines and fix things as they go along. So that was really the change in mindset. So you need to change the culture, you need to change the vision of the, and you need to enforce it down, and through that you can do the change. So.
Doctor, you were talking about the morale.
Yeah, so I think it is very critical to put the word of engagement. So with a 100% engagement strategy, which we are following, for example, we have made a big transformation in the organization from the old way of I produce, you sell, I operate, you fix, I run, you manage, to a new way of working, which is we are all operating, we are all responsible for the processes and the production and the delivery and the quality. And then this is the key success for the change. So actually, I'd like to touch base on one of the plants which really touched me during my career, where I visited the plant, and the floor operators were very, very proud of the ideas which were implemented in this plant. They were very simple, very low in cost. However, they transformed the operations, and they led to lots of cost cutting from time and efficiency point of view. And that is happening from the culture change of the 100% engagement mindset.
Walaa, we have time for one more question.
Okay. Just to finalize this, just because you have came into a factory that have been operating for 30 years. This is not operation, this is not supply chain. Let's talk after the session, but I can tell you, they have been doing good work for 30 years. So you need to embrace it.
Well, I have two things here that needs to be, maybe I can, I've just recalled one thing, is that you need first of all to incentivize the people and show them why they need to change. At the same time, which is very important, is really discipline. So you have to play with both. You cannot have one. So by having both, people understand why do they need to do it, and it's their own benefit. And at the same time, you discipline the people who are not really disciplined. Doesn't mean by penalizing as much as putting certain guidelines for the work and the way you want to move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Yeah, I'll make it quick.
Sure.
My name is Ashraf from Suprema Company. If the panelists could please elaborate more on how much lean or adopting lean has impacted the profitability of their companies. Let's take last year, for example, in terms of percentages. Thank you.
We have a theory of constrained believer more than a lean believer. Yes. Okay. So I can tell you right now that according to the books, it is 5% maximum. Okay. For me, it is the clear part. I increased the productivity of the people by 7%. I shipped extra 11%, with less overtime by 50%, and less scrap factor by another 50%. This is in 2 years effort. It is not 1 year result. It is the total of the 2 years. This is like the simple one on top of my mind. I believe similar percentages will be there, but this is like So anyone have numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the greenfield, I'll just talk about the old plant. We started with the 60 plus line efficiencies, and we ended up with 85 in the same old plant. So that's a 20% increase in productivity just because of implementing the M&W, which is somewhere more or like, looks like a lean kind of same approach. Response time, the trucks to the market, we used to have a kind of 40 minutes for the truck from the time it enters to the time it leaves. Now in 20 minutes the truck is finished because we have a pre-order that's already communicated to the people in the warehouse. They make everything ready, the truck comes in, gets loaded, go to the market. So yeah, these are two things that comes from the top of my head on improving the...
As we are ending our time, and I know that they will kill me, okay, just, we are not here to say lean is the best. We are talking about operational excellence, whatever the methodology. Okay, I'm a fan of theory of constraint, not lean. There are many methodologies in many companies. Some, P&G have what is called integrated work systems. Some companies have PMO. This is like, we are here to say we need an operational excellence program in every company, whatever you will call it. From saving standpoint that will affect the bottom line, maybe sending the people home at time and not exhausted to live their normal life, which can touch to the moral part, okay, is, you will never see it on an Excel sheet or a P&L for the CFO. But sometimes sending the people home to have a different life outside the office is important as well. This is an important message that we should say here in such a summit. Not everything does not reflect directly to the P&L. Sometimes it reflects that your people will shake your hand and tell you, thanks, the previous boss was not sending us home. Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, your moderator, Walaa, thank you very much indeed. And extended thanks to our panelists, Dr. Hannah, Yelena, Wael, Silvana, and Amitabha. Thank you all very much indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your interactive questions. Do remember, these conferences, we are giving you these opportunities to interact with panelists and speakers.